and welcome to Everyday Champions in Business, presented by Action Coach Dane County. Action Coach is the world's #1 business coaching company, and today it's your opportunity to hear the stories, tips, and insider information that makes entrepreneurship and business the greatest game on the planet. I'm Amy Atherton, business coach with Action Coach Dane County, and today I have the pleasure to introduce Todd Keeser with Insperity. Welcome, Todd.
Well, thanks, Amy. How are you today?
I'm great.
Good.
Thank you. So, all right, so let's get started. Tell me a little bit about your business.
So I'm a business advisor with Insperity. Insperity is a national company, but as a consultant or as an advisor, I kind of run my own space, if you will. So I consult and communicate with business owners, business leaders, helping to identify ways that they can enhance their business.
Okay, great. And how long have you been in business? How long has Insperity been in business, and how long have you been in your position?
In this world. So I'll go backwards. I've been in this administrative services space and in business services space for about 25 years. I've been with Insperity for 5, but Insperity's been in business actually started what is commonly referred to as the PEO industry that we have today. And that started in 1986. And then I think in the late 90s, they went public. So we're a publicly traded company and changed the name to Insperity from what used to be Administaff.
Okay. And what is PEO again?
So PEO is Professional Employer Organization.
Okay. Okay. And so who do you serve? Who's your best customer? Like we refer to it as a target market.
Oh, yeah. Our kind of sweet spot in that world is anywhere a new entrepreneur, somebody who has 4 or 5 employees and is looking to grow their organization, all the way to we have clients with thousands of employees. But typically, if we give you the majority of our clients are going to be in the space from 5 employees to maybe 200, 250 employees.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. So,
Yeah.
How has your business changed over the last 5 years, and how may it change going forward in order to stay successful?
Very good question. So, COVID 2020 was a huge impact, obviously, to a lot of businesses. But in our space, it brought HR to the top of the kind of interest level for business owners, because prior to COVID, not nobody, but there wasn't a huge remote workforce, and COVID just identified so many more issues. So in our world, we'd say that the HR teams of companies were then moved to the C-level table and became more valuable, if you will, or more important in how companies manage the changing work environment. I think that just culminates all the significant changes or differences in generations. I'm the last of the baby boomer years, so I kind of fit in the 2 generations. But that has just made companies have to rethink how they do HR. And because of that, and then from a compliance standpoint, states and the federal government put out more and more compliance pieces. It's just elevated the need for an HR strategy for companies versus being responsive, right? They needed to have a proactive strategy on how are we going to manage folks. So that's probably the biggest change in 5 years. And what's continued out of that is the labor force has shrunk. Employees maybe have commonly referred to as the upper hand, right? So as an employee, I have more options today than I did 20 years ago, 10 years ago. So it's getting more and more incumbent or important for business owners to continue to see the growth they want to see and maximize their business is maintaining or keeping the employees that are solid, right? And so that's the retention of employees has become so much more important. And that means, right, the battle for employees is benefits costs go up, employee needs more time off, whatever they might be. There's more strategy to that these days.
Yeah. Okay. And that's
Um,
where Insperity comes in.
yeah, so we provide an HR team, right? So we can give a 5 or a 10 employee company access to dedicated HR folks with a lot of experience, and they don't have to go out and hire a full-time or even a part-time person at that cost. The cost share is a lot less because we're sharing that with multiple clients. And I think to finish up on the answer to your previous question, the future is, I think the future is still going to be that battleground for employees.
Mhm.
More and more people are going to retire,
Mhm.
and less are coming into the marketplace. And then the wants and needs of the whatever the generation is today. I don't know. I don't keep up to date on all the titles we give them, but
Sure.
they want different things, right?
Mhm.
The millennial, under 40-year-old, under 30-year-olds, they want to have their experiences today, and then they'll work later in life. At least that's the approach right now versus the baby boomers. I'm like, we worked and we want to get to retirement so we can have those
Mhm.
experiences. So
Mhm.
it's a tough needle to thread for a lot of employers. And that's where we come in.
Okay. Yeah, I can see the need for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so this is an interesting question. It has been said that smart people learn from their mistakes, but wise people learn from other people's mistakes. So, what mistakes have you made along the way that other leaders could learn
You don't have enough time.
from?
Um,
Pick one.
I've heard similar versions of that statement. And I think the mistakes I've learned from the most is when I didn't listen.
Mm,
Um, I think we all have a tendency to know what we know and kind of lean on it and be proud of what we know. And we have a tendency as humans to not listen and accept advice from others. I think it's a challenge because I think that's just human nature in some games. So I think listening to others' advice.
mm,
The challenge is picking out which one works for me, right?
okay.
I think for everybody, right? I can get three people's advice, pieces of advice, and they're all different. So which one do I choose?
Hmm.
I think what I've learned from the most is listen to others. Don't be the one to make that mistake the first time. So I'd rather be wise than smart in your analogy. And I think that's what I've learned from the most over the years is just um, slow down and listen, and you will find the answers in that.
Yeah, that is great. I love that. Listening, and then just from what you've learned from listening, just decide what resonates most with you, right?
Yeah, because I think ultimately I still have to live whatever that choice is. I take on all that responsibility. So just evaluating how I want to go forward. It's just, I mean, they're decisions every day.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years, I've gotten to, I'll say, be a mentor for a lot of folks that get in our industry and our business. And one of the common questions is I've got a job offer, or somebody asked me to look at a job. I'm like, well, are you interested? Well, maybe. I'm well, then go listen. It doesn't ever hurt to listen to what's
Right?
available.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, make a decision. And then the questions are always like, what happens if it's the wrong one? Well, then just make another one. These are
Mm-hmm.
not finite decisions. We can make a decision, be willing to respond
Mm-hmm.
accordingly. You can't
Mm-hmm.
just sit still. So,
I love that. That's great. Okay, so second to last question. We have your contact information. We have your website, yeah, your email, your phone number, but is there anything else you would like to include? You want something people to know about Insperity?
um, yeah, I think the biggest thing that being in the sales side of business in the business, right? There's a perception of sales. I'm a consultant. While I am in bringing on new clients to Insperity, not everybody fits Insperity, and Insperity does not fit everybody. The most enjoyment I get and the most productive and beneficial conversations I have is we're not playing poker. We put our cards on the table and we just talk about the situations we're in. And I may have solutions that are not Insperity based. I've been in this business, in this space, if you will, for a lot of years. And I've been an advisor for businesses in the financial world, in the payroll and HR world, in the insurance world. They all apply, right? The
Okay.
concepts kind of all apply. But I have resources and people that I've met along the way that are great connections for me and support my clients. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not always Insperity, right? So just,
Sure.
and Insperity actually fosters that, which is the main reason I'm at Insperity, it isn't about just go sell everybody everything. It's not how
Sure.
we operate. Our, our mission statement, and I'm not a huge fan of mission statements because I think most employees don't necessarily know what it is and then
Mm-hmm.
can live that life, if you will. But it's fairly simple, right? Our goal is to help business succeed so that our communities prosper.
Mm.
And what I found in the years that I've been in Insperity and even competed with them at sometimes in the past is that's really how they go to market. That's really what we do. It isn't, we don't have all the solutions. But if we can have good, solid conversations and help
Yeah.
understand where companies are going and what ownership wants to do, we can give them some advice. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the biggest thing that I do when somebody asks, that give me two sentences about what you do. Um, I connect business owners and business leaders with ideas and resources that can enhance their business. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the most important piece to remember when I talk with folks. That's the most important piece you have to take away. So if we don't become business partners, great, but I'm always going to be a resource. You can call me, you can reach out. Maybe I have something in the future because I love meeting people and I love learning stories. So that's kind of my
Yeah,
story.
that's great. But in business, you always need like a team of people.
Yeah,
Maybe not on your team, but outside your team, a team of people. Yeah, and
yeah,
connectors. I love that.
yeah, yeah.
Great. All right. So last question. Doesn't have to be about business. What's most inspiring to you today?
Most inspiring. That's
Yes.
interesting. For me, like I think I kind of lines up. We get this question a lot. Right? We're in this kind of world. Is what's most important to you? Why? What's your reason? What's your
Mm-hmm.
why?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I ask that all the time of the business leaders and people that I'm talking to. Somebody who's an entrepreneur and starts a business and like, why are you doing this? Quite
Mm-hmm.
honestly, why? Then and they've got 50 employees. I'm like, really? Why? My why is really about family.
Mm-hmm.
Got a great, and when I say family, it's not like biological, it's my friends and family, it's my community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's people I've met along the way. That again, it kind of resonates back to how I think about what I provide to others is just a resource.
Mm-hmm.
I love helping people with no strings attached, right? There's no agenda. I just enjoy seeing people have success. My biggest motivation and focus is obviously my family and wanting to do the things that I think are important for them that they want to see. But that extends to so many people I've met along the way that I call really close friends and just friends in general. So yeah, that's I just enjoy helping people get I help I don't want to say it. I enjoy helping people see success, whatever they see that as.
That's great. That's great. I love how you tied inspiring into the why. I don't think that why is always left as inspiring, but that's what it should be, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have a concrete something I can grab a hold of and say, here's my why, let me show it to you.
Yeah,
But there's if you don't have inspiration, if you don't have passion for it, or is it just are we just doing something to get somewhere? Or are we
right.
doing it because we really, really see value in it and love it?
Mhm.
I joke with a lot of my clients. I've been doing this a long time. And there's going to come a day when we all get to the point where we're done wanting to chase that around the block. And I talk to my business clients, and I'm just like, what's your goal? Where are you headed?
Mm-hmm.
None of them.
No.
I've yet to find an entrepreneur who uses the word retirement
Mm-hmm.
because they never do. Right? There's just another project, another passion, and
Mm-hmm.
I've learned from that, and just and just seeing that every day, it's like, just have that passion, no matter what it is you're doing.
Mhm.
And that, I think that will give you so many more rewards than anything else. You just see the success in that. So that's what I try
Yeah,
to do.
that's beautiful. Thank you. Well,
Well, thank you.
fantastic job, Todd. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for being on our Everyday Champions in
Oh,
Business
nice.
interview series. As a thank you, we're going to send you an autographed copy of Joe Theismann's book, How to Be a Champion Every
Oh,
Day.
nice.
Um, yeah, and for any entrepreneurs listening that want HR assistance, be sure to connect with Todd at the link below. And yeah, that's it. Thank you, Todd.
Well, thank you, Amy. Thanks for the invitation. I love talking with you. And if we can connect again, let me know.